Hey everyone, welcome back. It's April 30th. I think we're all probably in quite a state of panic about all the different ways that we need to pay different types of taxes and all the different deadlines. So I thought I would jump on today and I would focus a little bit of attention to what is due when and where you go and pay for those different taxes and where you file things. Right now, I'm using the BC PST filing location as my background because it's a good reminder that it's not always obvious where we go to do different types of taxes and whether we can do them directly through our bank account, where we need to file them, and on and on and on. So here we are at the login area for eTax BC, which for those of you that have to collect and then pay PST, this is where you go to do all of your work on that. And you just follow the instructions step by step in here. It'll remind you of the right way to do everything. Speaking of different types of taxes and different types of deadlines, you're probably wondering what is due when and how you can manage that kind of information. So I want to take you through that process. PST is actually one of the more straightforward ones. Whether you do it monthly, quarterly, or annually, the due date is the last day of the month following the reporting period. So it's pretty straightforward, pretty immediate. And the fact of the matter is that most of us don't qualify for any PST rebates. And that means it's pretty simple. We've collected our PST. Now we need to submit it to the government. GST is a little bit different. And if you have been following my other videos, I took you into my CRA and we looked at my CRA business account. When you are doing your GST filing, you can do it in two different ways. You can actually file your GST with details through your bank account if you have a business bank account. Or you can do a more simplified version through your CRA login, and you need to do a lot of the calculations on your own. Now, the GST does require a bit more work because we often have GST rebates. That means that if you have purchased anything for your business that you have paid GST on, you can deduct that from the GST owing. And this makes a huge impact on GST owing for everybody, and it's certainly worthwhile to put in that work. It's obviously a little bit complicated because you need to be careful. If you're using a car that is not just for business, you may have to do some extra calculations there. Another example is something like meals and entertainment, where you're only supposed to be doing 50%. You really should only be doing the rebate on 50% of the GST that you were charged. So those are a couple of nuances. It does require a little bit more time for you to do your prep. You can't immediately jump in and pay it. You need to make sure that your expenses are up to date. So this means that we can't do things super fast. We have to actually go through our expenses and make some decisions based on that. See GST kind of all over the map in regards to due dates. And this is where getting it into your calendar as a reminder is super valuable. You really don't always need to pay somebody to be doing your GST filing for you. It's something that's really straightforward. So if you do want to save some money because you have a small sole proprietorship or you're doing this as a side gig, I highly recommend you figure out how to do it. So you can see a range of when GST is due. So for example, whether you're monthly, whether you are quarterly, and whether you are annually, as well as whether you are a corporation or sole proprietorship, those are all going to impact when your GST needs to be filed and paid. So it's something that you definitely want to look into and get that into your calendar. A little side note is that I have developed a tool. It'll be coming out soon, and maybe you only need the one piece of it. And it's basically a Google Sheet where you put in all of the important dates, and then it syncs up with your Google Calendar with a click and approvals, and you've got it in there.